Okay, continuing. And then same thing on the selection guide. I just have the primary purpose of why this orthosis. So like for the RA1 resting hand, for somebody with rheumatoid arthritis, it would be to prevent the deformity and decrease pain. So I just go through and list every single one. And then two, when we're doing the orthosis, I wanted this little guide here to help me know positioning wise what it needs to be at for them, because obviously I know like general, you know, make sure there's no like pressure marks going into them that we want to make it loose. No, not really on bony prominences, and if it is, like I know how to adapt that. But knowing this on like a whim or fast, if I have to do it, this is great to have it in here, because I know I probably won't remember all those numbers. But it's my goal to eventually. And then I just go into different splints in here. So I put the thumb spica in here as my first one, because this is a very, very common one. And I put diagnoses in here. So it'd be like for DeQuervians. It would also be for like gamekeeper or the skier's thumb, a scaphoid fracture, even thumb sprains, stuff like that. And then I have contraindications listed, so increased edema requiring orthotic adjustments, open wounds without appropriate dressing. I have a wearing schedule on here, so usually, and again, this can change, but this is generalized. Full time during acute phase, stuff like that. And then I just have down here like the joint and position specifically for each one, but it's also kind of in this chart if I just need to look super fast. And then just for the diagnosis, you know, obviously we'd use the thumb spica, and we would use it because it reduces stress on the APL and EPB tendons during healing. So I go through with that. And I have it for all of them. So then I have the resting hand, and then we would use this for like, for anything really. I have a lot of kids who have these too, and adults in the skilled nursing. Strokes, rheumatoid arthritis, burns, like nerve injuries, or severe hand trauma, stuff like that. Same thing, diagnosis, the position that it would need to be in, and the wear schedule. And then in each of these two, I believe, oh no, that's it. I made them all one page for this. Perfect. Forearm-based MCP extension orthosis, obviously number one, rheumatoid arthritis. This is the one I picked for that. And then just MCP joint instability, extensor tendon reconstruction, stuff like that. This is usually for full time for 4 to 6 weeks, which I've kind of talked about that already in my case study. Our wrist cock-up orthosis, carpal tunnel syndrome, wrist sprains, rheumatoid arthritis. A lot of these can be used for arthritis. I have the dorsal blocking orthosis. This could be flexor tendon reconstruction, complex volar hand lacerations, stuff like that. Yep. Hand-based ulnar drift orthosis. I would love to see one of these made, because when I've seen them before and when I've looked them up, I just see like the soft cloth ones where you adjust each strap, and I would love to know how to make it, if we can make one of these. That would be really cool. So rheumatoid arthritis, osteoarthritis, wherever we're gonna see that, just an ulnar drift deformity, even early on ulnar drift, stuff like that. Contraindications would be fixed ulnar drift or fixed ulnar deviation that cannot be passively corrected, significant edema requiring frequent adjustments, open wounds, which open wounds are like for all of these, of course. Then I have a relative motion orthosis, or the yoke splint. This one was super cool, and I really kind of want to make one of these. So this is used to position one of the MCP joints in a greater extension or flexion relative to adjacent digits. This position redistributes extensor tendon forces, reduces stress on injured structures, and promotes functional hand use while allowing active motion. I saw a picture of this and I was like, whoa, what can we use this for? Which would be extensor tendon repair, sagittal band injury, MCP joint. Some of the contraindications are unstable fractures, significant edema, poor skin integrity, And then, of course, what I have on everyone. Then elbow extension orthosis. Love, love, love these. If someone is extremely contracted, I have seen people make these, and basically from my understanding and what I've seen and what I've actually used for my clients too, we would be able to make the inner part of it, but all of these need the padding. So I know very commonly for these, and a couple of my clients who've used them, we have like the zipper padding that goes over and then it velcros, and it helps try to keep that arm from coming out a little bit more. Yeah, and then some other diagnoses for these two: cubital tunnel syndrome, ulnar nerve compression, and ulnar nerve transposition. Honestly, I'm very familiar with these with like quadriplegic, just any type of like cerebral palsy. That's when they're very spastic and they start to contract, and we try to put these on them. Same thing with strokes too. I've used those before. And then fabrication and fitting guide, just basic rules, kind of like I just made a little checklist for me, like, okay, make sure like no pressure points, mark the landmarks when I'm making it, you know, and then like a fitting check and a positioning. And then I have from Moodle, the wear schedule like agreement on here, and then just some smaller patterns of the orthosis, and then this. And then in here I have just patterns. I thought these were some of the most basic. I have the thumb spica here. And then this one, here, I'll pull them out. Thumb spica. I have the thumb hole wrist cock up. I think I made these all to go on my left hand too. Resting hand. This was different. I saw there was 2 ways to make these, but I chose this way for it. But there, I think you showed us in class too one way, and I couldn't remember what it was. Radial bar wrist cock up. This is a good one. And then I have just the opponent's one here, the thumb CMC. Okay. Sorry, this is super long. Moving on to the next modalities, I just have in here just basic clinical goals, primary modalities, like just our most common ones, alternative modalities, and then the diagnoses that